Welcome, welcome. We're actually setting up the live streaming for YouTube and Facebook as we speak. And if you are here in the Zoom room and you're not online, you're going to have the benefit of hearing a Q&A at the end on the topic, which the people who are watching live in other streams right now or playing it back will not be included in. Sorry. That's why you got to be live on the events, guys. So Phoebe, if you could just keep an eye on the door and just keep letting people in as we go, that'd be fantastic. So today's topic is actually something, and now keep in mind, before I get into this, I want to say a little bit about this. Recently, someone asked me how long I've been in the industry, and I suddenly realized it was 40 years. All right, just letting some people in there, Phoebe. There's still some there. 40 years in the industry makes me feel old, right? 20 years in glutathione, 40 years in this industry in about 3 months' time from now, when I turned 58. And so I'm going to share some information on a topic that I know inside out from 40 years. So there's no, hey, this is a new thing I just learned the other day. I'm going to share it with you. This is something I've been doing for 40 years. And did I do it well at the start? No. And they say you teach best what was hardest to learn. Sometimes, if you've ever watched The Simpsons, where he grabbed the electric cupcake and went, zzz, oh, zzz, oh, zzz, oh, it takes him a few times to get the message, right? That was me. Right. And so maybe that's you, or maybe that's someone in your group, and maybe they're going to need to listen to this topic to understand it. Okay. So having said that, I don't want to think that this thing out, that I know all the answers. I'm the expert. I'm going to give you my perspective. I say this all the time. This is my crown perspective. These things I'm going to talk about got me to crown. So it's not theory. But I'm going to introduce you to a beautiful friend of mine who's been in the industry for 40 years on this call, who's a 3-star going shooting for diamond, which is Phoebe Wallace. Also going to introduce you to the beautiful Lorena from Spain, who I have dubbed some subtitles into her feedback. And you're going to get a well-rounded 360-degree view. And then for those people who are on live at the end, stay on, we'll open up the cameras and the audio, and you can ask questions and or share your views. Having said that, no matter who you are, no matter what rank you are, when we open up the Q&A, it's not an opportunity for you to start your own training session. Just be clear, right? It's an opportunity for you to add a couple of words or ask a question or share something, but keep it succinct. Sometimes people go, oh, cool, you've unmiked. 20 minutes later, we don't want that, right? We want to keep it really fast moving. So my observation after 40 years in the industry is a heap of people leave a lot of money on the table. And that's either because they're scared to follow up, or they just don't know the tools and the strategies to do, okay? And that's my perspective. So write this one down if you like. He or she who asks the questions controls the entire conversation. So you don't need to know all the right answers. And people think that, oh, I've got to research everything and understand it inside out before I actually talk about the topic. Rubbish. That's why you have a Neumi 1, 2, 3 system, right? So those individuals who are following the Neumi 1, 2, 3 process always, put that in highlighter, always book a meeting from the first conversation. That way, they are never becoming that annoying person that is, hey, Prue, did you watch the video yet? No. Oh, okay, cool. Next week. Hey, Prue, did you watch that video yet? No, Michael, I haven't had time. Yeah, okay, cool. Next week. Hey, Prue, did you? Piss off, Michael. Oh, okay. Right. Sorry for intruding. Now, if I just said, hey, Prue, there's a great video I'm going to send you. It only goes for a few minutes. If I send it to you now, when do you think you'll get a chance to watch it? And she says, probably tonight. And I go, cool. If I rang you tomorrow morning, you would have watched it. When's a good time to debrief? If I had have booked that in follow through, that is the number 2 technique you need to learn in this industry. The first one is master your invitation, practice it out loud. Because if you haven't got a good invitation, none of the rest works. The second one is learning how to book a meeting from a meeting, because that's where you use your upline in the follow-up process. And if you've mastered how to book a meeting from a meeting, everything flows. As simple as that. So today you're going to hear from 2 leaders, as I said, on their perspective from around the world on how they use follow-up with getting someone started. But the first thing I want to talk about is follow-through more general, okay? And when I say general, the follow-through starts when? At hello. In fact, you'll get to the point of experience in an industry where you've probably heard this before. You don't know what you don't know. That's unconscious incompetence. Then you know what you know, right? But you know what you don't know as well. And then it's kind of getting to this conscious competence. And eventually you get to the point where it's unconscious competence, meaning you know exactly what you're doing, you don't even think about it. And then it becomes a bit hard to train because you're stuck in this zone of it's just natural. And we always have to bring ourselves back to, hey, when I learnt it, it was clunky as well. But now when words come out of my mouth, it's just natural. And booking a meeting from a meeting is natural if you can practice it, okay? And someone just typed in the chat, I have had a hard time with my invitation without sounding spammy. Yep. Whereas if you can practice it out loud, it becomes conversational. And people, dogs smell fear, people smell doubt and lack of competence. Okay, so practice it out loud. And the same thing goes true for the question about booking a meeting from a meeting as well. If you learn that out like verbatim, it's just a conversation. Hey, you're probably going to have some questions. When's a good time to debrief? I think of this one or this one, which suits you. Book it in, and then off we go. Okay, so I've got some notes in front of me because I didn't want to miss anything, but some people think that what you do is you send out a video and then you wait for the person to come back to you. Now, those people are the ones contributing to the statistic that isn't great in the industry that says the average person introduces 2.8 people, then quits. That's because those people didn't learn any skills and they didn't invest in themselves, and they just thought, hey, this is a get rich quick scheme. I'll get the word out on a few videos and I'll be a millionaire. So don't be that person. Instead, be the person who is an exceptional person who invests in themselves and learns the skills. Okay. So it's interesting. You can write this down, but you can even Google it or go to ChatGPT. There is a thing called the rule of 7. Write that down. The rule of 7. Now, what is the rule of 7? It's a fact that the average person joins a network marketing company after rather than throwing themselves in the boat, and then it is them going through a series of exposures. All right. Did I just freeze? Someone asked me, or is that someone's connection? Okay. Can you hear me now? We're all good. All right. Thank you. Thanks for typing that in the chat. Okay. So let's talk about what those 7 exposures might look like. Yeah. So the first one is I made a phone call. Okay. The rule of 7. Thank you, Florence. You need to change your name. The rule of 7. And the rule of 7 says most people need 7 exposures before making a decision. Okay. So rule number 1, also rule of 7, right? So number 1 could be reaching out and making a passionate phone call to somebody, or sending a text to somebody saying, hey, blah, 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 are involved in something. Hey, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? That's exposure number 1, a conversation by a text or by a phone. That the old style network marketers are going, nothing beats a passionate phone call. I'm that breed, I agree. But there are the new generation who, when you talk to your children, if you want to get them to dinner, you text them, even though they're in the next room, because they won't put their head up from their phone. So the younger generation text and don't phone. So old people, live with it. You can't turn them into you. And if you're trying to, you're going to struggle, right? Just go with it. They can text you, make a passionate phone call, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 would be what? Perhaps they've watched the 3-minute video. Now, if you're not using the 3-minute video as your first exposure, what are you doing? That is the tool internationally in all languages for everyone as a first exposure. Why? It's short and sweet. I've heard some people sending Steve's deep dive into glutathione first. And I'm like, you obviously don't have a mentor because it's long and people don't have that attention span. You need something short and sweet. So 3-minute video could be exposure number 2. For most people who are really successful in the business, exposure number 3 would be the opportunity overview. Okay. Now, can I see a show of hands in the chat, actually? Who watched the new 20-minute opportunity overview yesterday? Actually, type it in the chat. And did you love it or hate it? I'd love some feedback. We purposely have cropped out some of the comp plan details to shorten it to 20 minutes. I did it in 19, 22 yesterday, but 19 on the one that's on YouTube. So I've got, yes, it's great, perfect, thumbs up, fantastic, loved it, brilliant. Okay, I was chatting with Sergio this morning and Florence and a few other people who helped me with translations. I will be getting some of those updated slides to you so that we can get it in all languages in time for the app relaunch, which actually happens in mid-March, okay? So that would be great, wouldn't it? Having it in all those languages so you can actually start presenting exactly the same way. So number 3, as I said, would be an opportunity overview, which doesn't go into the deep dive of the comp plan anymore, right? But it's suitable for people just looking at product and or considering business. It's designed for both now. So that's opinion 3. Some people join then. But if you are smart and you follow the Neumi 1, 2, 3 process, what did you do? You pre-booked a follow-up, not just you following up, you pre-booked a follow-up, and then you've said, hey, I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine who's had a great experience on the product, and they're going to hop in and meet the person and help you with your follow-throughs. That's what the successful people do. Not everyone does it, but that's what the successful people do, just saying, right? So that is number 4, having them introduced to an upline. We're still not to 7. So if you're going, oh, people haven't joined, the rule of 7, guys, statistically, most people wouldn't have yet. So what happens after that? Well, if your upline is smart and they've been trained really well on doing follow-up Zooms, what are they going to do? Now, some of those follow-up Zooms might be group ones. I did some for Kevin the other day where we had about 5 people in the room, and that's okay. Ideally, I like one-on-ones because I can talk to that person's needs, wants, and desires. But if I have a follow-up with lots of people, it's still a follow-up. So what are you going to do? You're going to try and book a meeting from there. They're either going to get started, get registered or whatever, or maybe they need more information, okay? So maybe the upline then at number 5 might say you really need to watch the compensation plan deep dive, right? That's only 5 exposures, right? Now, number 6, if the upline was smart and there's a brand new person, they didn't say, once you watch that, get back to Mary, who doesn't have a clue what she's doing. Instead, they've gone, hey, once you watch that, let's regroup. When's a good time? When do you think you'll get a chance to watch that? And they do exactly the same thing, and they book in the next follow-up. So that'll be debrief. That's number 6, right? We're still not up to the rule of 7. So maybe after that, try a product, because we know that if someone tries a product, it's like they're sitting on the fence and you go, and they fall over our side of the fence because it's so easy because the product is so good. But they've also gone through a journey of discovery that's really helping them build a relationship with not just you and upline. They've been through a process of understanding the science and everything and the comp plan and what have you. Now, the fork in the road there, when the upline gets back on the call, may go down the comp plan or it might not. Maybe the person is saying, no, I don't want your business, but I'm keen on the product. Perfect. But maybe they sent Steve's deep dive into glutathione and hydrostat as a follow-up tool. Okay. Now, interesting. What percentage of people do you think don't get to 7? Type some thoughts. 7 exposures. What percentage of people do you think do not? I just read a comment for someone's funny in there. Yeah, interesting stats. We're all plucking it from out of nowhere. But the truth is, I looked at it and the statistics say, and this isn't just network marketing, but it's in sales in general, and we are in some form of sales or sharing, 44% of people stop on exposure number 1. 44% stop on number 1. No wonder they struggle to succeed. You leave all this money on the table. Some people come back to me years down the track. Maybe they go through that process. Maybe they got to exposure number 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, who knows? And then down the track, they may have connected. Now, sadly, the people who need to hear this the most are the ones that are not on the training session because they're not committed to themselves. So maybe you go, you know what, if I knew something that would make a dramatic difference to your statistics, my friend, would you want me to tell you? Write that question down. If I knew something that would make a dramatic difference to your statistics in Neumi, my friend, would you want me to tell you? Ask permission. And they say, absolutely. And you say, great, you need to watch this presentation that was just done with Phoebe Wallace, Lorena, and Michael Firth, because I know why you're struggling. And then that's how you get them to prescriptively watch what they need to hear from here on in, okay? In fact, it's those people, have you ever heard this before? A poor workman blames their tools, right? They don't blame themselves because that'd be embarrassing. And in network marketing, the people who don't go to the training, the people who just throw mud against the wall and hope it sticks, they're the ones who you'll see them 2 years, sometimes 3 years, sometimes quicker, jumping from one company to another. Why? They have burnt through their contacts. They haven't taught duplication. They haven't got into training. And now they're going, yeah, the company didn't work. No, buyer beware. Don't follow those people. They are the people who they're the problem. They just never studied the process, okay, which is sad. So have anyone out there heard of a drip campaign? Type in yes or no, a drip campaign. And do you know what it means? Type it in the chat. Yes, yes, no, yes, 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 yes. Great. Okay. Let me share with you what a drip campaign is. So just because a prospect says it's not for me now doesn't mean it's not going to be timing different down the track. Now, if you just start sending someone information straight after they've said no every week and go, that's a drip campaign, I heard. No, it's not. That's annoying someone, right? If you finish with the question and say, when they say it's just, I'm just not for me right now, Michael, I go, that's fine. Hey, look, are you okay if I just keep you up to date every now and then with stuff? Won't overload you, but every now and then if there's something new comes up, you okay with that? Yeah, absolutely. So that's one way of doing a drip campaign where you put that prospect into a little list to the side and maybe you send them out a new tool, a new product launch, something that comes out, something of interest every now and then. Can I tell you my most effective drip campaign? You want to know it? Social media. Now, here is the issue. If you look at your Facebook profile right now, and some of you I can see online are doing this, so I hate to say it, I won't point at anyone in particular. If your Facebook profile says Neumi, 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 that's not a drip campaign, that's a machine gun, and that is selling and repelling, right? That won't help your cause. If, on the other hand, there's a little bit of Neumi there, and I want to say this, don't look at me and copy what I do. This is the sad part, unfortunately, because when I started Neumi, it was curiosity based for at least 90 to 120 days, where no one even saw the word Neumi. And then eventually I drip fed it in. And now I am a founding advisory board member who helped find the investors for the company. I'm a crown. I'll be a presidential one day. There's no question about that in my mind. So I am with Neumi till the ship will never go down. But I'm at Neumi for life. I've pop riveted my thighs to this chair and I'm not going anywhere, right? So I do a lot more than I want you to do on social media. I want you to have maybe 20% of what you say might be Neumi. And I'm looking at some people on here who are experienced network marketers who will never put the word Neumi on their page. And I understand why. They want to stay totally neutral. And if you can do that, that's great. Like I said, I'm in a different category because I feel like this is my baby and I'm not shy of it, right? So don't copy an influencer and go, oh, they're dancing around in a short skirt with a bottle of Neumi, I should do that. No, right? If you don't have a huge following, do not do that. It's not going to win you any favors, right? So balance your social media. Why? It's more attractive. And I'll give you an example from yesterday. If you've been on my Facebook, for example, I look at myself every now and then and go, try and put myself in the category of a helicopter looking down rather than from here where I can't see the wood for the trees. And yesterday I noticed I had way too much Neumi stuff. So I thought I need to put something interesting up that has nothing to do with Neumi. And I happened to walk past one of my plants in the house that looks amazing. If you haven't seen it, go have a look at it. It looks like it's plastic. It's so perfect. And I'm like, how the heck does that plant say so good? Because I ignore it. Right? And some of the other plants died, and I'm looking after them with a lot of TLC. And Phoebe said, yeah, a little bit like some of your members. Some of them absorb all your time and then die. And others you give a little bit of energy to and they grow. So I put that online because I thought any plant enthusiasts out there, that's me being the authentic me and take away from having too much Neumi posted. I have had a lady who has a meeting with me tomorrow who met me 10 years ago, who has been on Facebook ever since in the incubator. And she said, I need to talk to you about Neumi so that I can get registered and started. I'm like, wow, that fish just jumped in the boat and hit me in the head. But I invested in a good, attractive social media incubator without spamming too much. So that's helped my cause, if that makes sense. So that's part of drip campaign as well. Okay, so let me touch on the tools too. So I talked before about Steve's video. I'm not saying for 1 second, and I spoke to Ryan about this the other day. I said, look, I know you love your dad. I love your dad. He's the most amazing person in my life. He's a spiritual mentor. He's the visionary. But I don't use his tool as a leading tool. Why? It's too long and it doesn't cover opportunity. So it is a magnificent follow-up tool. But I said there is no right and wrong. There is only action as a cause reaction. So if I send Steve's video out there, I'm going to get lots of customers. I'm not going to get as many members. If I send something out there that covers the products and a little bit of treetop of opportunity, I'm more likely to get a member as well. Does that mean I don't use Steve's tool? No way. Steve's tool is part of my process. It is the most brilliant and effective detailed follow-up you could possibly ever have. And that's where I put it in that category. In the new app version, you'll see it'll be put in follow-up where it actually belongs. Now, having said that, it's a fork in the road. So if someone has been exposed to the 3-minute video, then the opportunity video, the path beyond there, whether it's Steve's video or whether it's the comp plan detail or whether it's a Bill Gillespie video, who knows, comes back to meeting them where they're at, where was their interest. So it is, to me, the way I've taught duplication, I always use the same first tools because I can say, see what I did? That wasn't hard. These videos, then follow up with outline, then so connect to tools, connect to leaders, and then connect to product. But the follow through will take a fork in the road and could be any kind of follow-up tool because we're going to meet that person exactly where they're at. Okay. So other testimonial videos, all sorts of things you can send through to keep that person alive. So I've just realized I have jumped ahead and I've covered what was written in my notes anyway. So it was in here, which is great. Okay. So 7 exposures, drip campaigns, social media incubation, keep them going. And that means prospects may pop out down the track. Now there is someone's joined. Well, that's it. I don't need to send them anything anymore. No, this is where the hard work starts, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Lorena's video first. Now, Lorena's not in my team. I love saying this every time because I'm putting on my founding advisory board member hat. I'm not putting on Michael Firth's team's hat, talking greater good servant leadership, making sure everyone gets the best of the best from everyone. But she's a beautiful friend of mine that I met and translated between other people. And she has a lot of wisdom. She's the diamond in Mexico. So let me just bring up this video. I'm going to play this for you. And then once we have, I'm going to debrief. And I want to say this before we start. Where is it? Here it is. Yep. I want to say this before we start. You're going to need to put down your pens. You're going to need to read the translation at the bottom of the screen and pay attention. And then I'm going to have a test at the end if you can tell me what her 5 points were. So we will debrief on it. Okay. So with that in mind, let's have a listen to Lorena.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mucho gusto. Por si no me conoces, me presento. Soy Lorena Ramírez, diamante Neumi, orgullosamente mexicana. Tengo 48 años, soy mamá de un par de torbellinos de 7, esposa, networker de profesión y apasionada de esta industria. El día de hoy tuve el privilegio de ser invitada a esta noche de miembros para compartirte un tema que me apasiona, porque para mí Neumi ha transformado mi realidad, pero hay algo súper importante. Neumi no solamente es una tecnología de salud que ayuda a las personas a que se sientan mejor. Es la posibilidad de transformar sus vidas, sobre todo financieramente. Y hoy es una de las grandes problemáticas en la mayoría de los países, la falta de salud financiera. Si tú ayudas a una persona a consumir el producto, a entender la maravillosa tecnología de salud que tenemos, pero también a verlo como la gran oportunidad y con eso poder transformar su realidad financiera, vas a impactar su vida de una manera poderosísima. Si tú estás aquí precisamente para eso, estos puntos que te voy a compartir son fundamentales en la parte del negocio, de cómo desarrollarlo de manera efectiva. Hay una frase que a mí me apasiona y justamente es ahí donde me voy a enfocar, de un gran mentor que durante muchos años fue un ícono en esta industria que se llamó Jim Rohn. Si no lo conoces, te recomiendo que entres en YouTube, hay muchísimo material de él, en donde justamente él fue de los pioneros en el tema de liderazgo, motivación en este tipo de negocios. Y había una frase que ha impactado mucho en donde él decía, la fortuna está en el seguimiento. La fortuna está en el seguimiento, pero no solamente seguimiento de prospectos. Cuando tú invitas a alguien, hoy no nos vamos a centrar en eso, sino seguimiento de las personas que inician en tu negocio. Muchas veces creemos que el inscribir a un cliente o inscribir a un miembro, ahí se terminó nuestro trabajo. No, apenas inicia, porque cuando esa persona pone la confianza en ti, decide decir que sí, es porque está queriendo mejorar su realidad en algún aspecto y es justamente ahí donde tenemos que empezar a educarlo, a guiarlo, a llevarlo de la mano para que esa persona pueda lograrlo. No toda la gente se va a comprometer, pero si tú sigues estos 5 pasos claves, te aseguro que el resultado en tu negocio va a explotar por completo. Antes de platicarte cuáles son esos 5 pasos, te quiero compartir algo súper importante, ciertas frases que espero las puedas anotar, porque estas son frases que si las comprendes, las compartes, las implementas en tu equipo, insisto, va a haber un crecimiento mucho mayor. El negocio crece cuando los nuevos socios saben exactamente qué hacer. Una de las realidades en este tipo de negocios es que la gente no sabemos cómo, la mayoría de las personas entramos sin saber cómo hacer multinivel, porque no nos enseñan, no hay una universidad o en la escuela no nos enseñan cómo hacer este tipo de negocios, es algo completamente nuevo, adicional a que hay muchos prejuicios sobre la industria y a la gente nos toca enfrentarnos a ciertos miedos como el rechazo, como el no, como el tener que invitar, prospectar y justamente por eso es que si tú le das una guía clara de qué es lo que tiene que hacer, le das puntualmente y le das claridad, es mucho más probable que esa persona lo pueda aplicar y lo duplique. Así es que te voy a compartir, como te decía, 5 pasos, 5. Paso número 1, contacto inmediato. ¿Qué significa esto? Al momento de que esa persona se inscribe, las primeras 24, 48 horas son cruciales. Si tú no te aseguras de darle seguimiento a ese nuevo socio, incluso a ese nuevo cliente, es muy probable que ese cliente, la motivación, la emoción con la que entró, decaiga por completo. Tenemos que acercarnos a él, arroparlo, darle la bienvenida a los grupos, a tus canales de comunicación, tener una reunión, una sesión de manera presencial, de manera virtual, para que le platiques cuáles son esos pasos a seguir, cuáles son esas las primeras acciones en donde se tiene que enfocar y sobre todo que se sienta bienvenido a esta comunidad, porque Neumi no es solamente un producto o la posibilidad de ganar dinero, es una comunidad de personas que queremos vivir mejor y eso es lo más poderoso. Si tú haces que tu nuevo socio se sienta bienvenido, bienvenida a esta comunidad en donde sabe que va a poder mejorar su calidad de vida, esa motivación se va a mantener. Las primeras 24, 48 horas son claves. Paso número 2, súper importante, activación simple. Dale los 3, 4 pasos claves que tiene que hacer, como el Neumi 1, 2, 3, que si no lo conoces, hay muchas capacitaciones sobre este sistema Neumi 1, 2, 3. Principalmente es consumir el producto. Ser producto del producto es una de las frases más importantes de esta industria. Poder conectar con tu línea de auspicio y poder conectar con las herramientas que son tan importantes. Dejemos un paso 1, 2, 3 simple con las personas para que sepan exactamente, ok, yo inicié, ¿cuál es mi primera acción? Acércalo a tu línea de auspicio. Si tú eres una persona que aún no tiene los resultados que a lo mejor puedan crear validez, acércalo con tu líder, con el diamante con el que estés trabajando, para que esa persona siga construyendo esa creencia. Una de las grandes situaciones o de las grandes problemáticas que tiene esta industria es que hay mucha falta de creencia. Hay 4 creencias principales que tú tienes que ir trabajando con la persona poco a poco y cada acción que hagas tiene que fortalecer estas 4 creencias. Creencia en la industria, fundamental. Creencia en el producto y en la empresa, obviamente importantísimo. Si tú no crees en el producto, en la empresa con quien te estás asociando, creencia en el equipo, en las personas que te están guiando y creencia en ti. Creencia en esa persona que está iniciando y que se siente merecedor, capaz de lograr cualquier cosa. El proceso tiene que ir fortaleciendo estas creencias. Cada paso que tú des con esa persona la tienes que llevar a que tenga sus primeras victorias, que contacte a sus primeros posibles clientes, a sus primeros posibles socios, que los lleve a una presentación, que los lleve a una reunión, que los lleve a una llamada tripartita para que empiece desde los primeros días. Los primeros 7 días son claves a tener esas primeras victorias. Muchas veces sucede que esperamos a que le llegue el producto y que esa persona tenga resultados con el producto para entonces tomar acción. Si es un consumidor, estoy completamente de acuerdo, pero si es alguien que entró con el interés de hacer el negocio, es tiempo que en esos 7 días, en esos primeros días, la motivación se va y entonces la acción va a disminuir y volver a levantar o volver a retomar ese nivel de motivación es muy complicado. Paso número 3. Paso número 3, fundamental, que aquí es un poquito de lo que comentamos, acompañamiento. No, no permitamos que esa persona se enfrente a sus primeras nos, a sus primeras frustraciones solo o sola, porque es ahí donde la mayoría desiste. Este es un negocio de trabajo en equipo y donde el que tú estés detrás, impulsándolo, apoyándolo, trabajando estas creencias que te comenté, creencia en la industria, creencia en la empresa, en el producto, creencia en el equipo y creencia en él mismo, tiene que estar acompañado, tienes que estar llevándolo de la mano, porque si tú simplemente le dices, ok, invita personas, haz tu lista, ve a una reunión, conéctate, es muy probable que no lo haga. Es como cuando tenemos un niño pequeño que tenemos que irlo guiando desde sus primeros pasos, ya en algún momento lo vas a soltar. Bueno, sucede lo mismo. Acompañamiento es fundamental. Número 4, súper importante. Seguimiento, seguimiento, seguimiento en sus primeros días. Como ya comentamos, es uno de los puntos fundamentales. Seguimiento en que sepa cómo utilizar el producto, en que sepa cómo contactar a las personas, en que sepa qué hacer cuando recibe una objeción, en que sepa a qué tipo de capacitaciones se tiene que conectar. Todo esto va de la mano, prácticamente son pasos muy similares, pero que digamos que los dejamos de hacer porque creemos que darle tiempo a un nuevo socio es lo mejor. No, esos primeros días son fundamentales. Y por último, y creo que importantísimo, no por ser el último, deja de ser el menos importante, es el más importante, integración al sistema. ¿Qué significa integrarlo al sistema? Yo siempre comento que es como conectarlo a la matrix, a la fuente de energía, que entre a los Zooms, a las capacitaciones, a las llamadas corporativas, a escuchar testimonios, que sepa realmente que esa conexión al sistema, que sepa exactamente qué días, a qué horas hay capacitaciones, que lo agende, que tache esos días, que lo mete en su agenda para que sí o sí pueda estar conectándose a la matrix, a la fuente de energía. Cuando tú te conectas a un Zoom de testimonios, ¿qué sucede? Eleva tu creencia. Cuando tú te conectas a un Zoom de capacitación del negocio y ves lo que puedes ganar, eleva tu creencia. Cuando tú escuchas a Steven Scott, eleva tu creencia. Bueno, necesitamos mantener al nuevo socio conectado al sistema integrado desde el día 1. No permitamos que esos primeros días que son cruciales se enfríe. Y para recapitular, paso número 1, contacto inmediato. Sus primeras 24, 48 horas son fundamentales. Paso número 2, hacerle simple el proceso. No tiene que ser experto en glutatión, no tiene que convertirse en la persona que conozca exactamente cómo trabaja la ciencia, no. Simplemente acércalo al Neumi 123, que empiece a probarlo, que empiece a vivirlo, contáctalo con una persona que ya tenga resultados con tu línea de auspicio y obviamente con las herramientas. Activación simple. Número 3, acompañamiento constante, constante desde el día 1. En algún momento esa persona se va a soltar, pero en un principio el acompañamiento es fundamental. 4, los primeros 7 días son críticos, así es que el seguimiento con él es fundamental. Y por último, conéctalo a la matrix, al sistema. Si te aseguras de llevar estos 5 pasos con cada persona nueva que esté interesado en desarrollar el negocio, llevarlo de manera adecuada, te aseguro que esa persona va no solo a poder tener mejores resultados, sino a duplicarlo. Porque si una persona ve el sistema complejo, ve un producto muy difícil de compartir, difícilmente lo va a hacer, lo va a duplicar. Y estos negocios no son de venta de productos, son de desarrollo de equipo, de duplicación. Inscribir crea volumen. Desarrollar crea liderazgo y el liderazgo crea libertad. Así es que la fortuna no está en registrar personas, está en darles el seguimiento constante, simple y duplicable. Así es que espero que esta información te haya servido. Por mi parte es todo. Me va a encantar verte en los eventos, en los Zooms de capacitación, en algún viaje de diamantes. Espero que estemos ahí juntos disfrutando y agradeciendo a la vida que nos haya puesto esta maravillosa oportunidad llamada Neumi. Gracias por la invitación y gracias por su tiempo que me regalaron y escuchar esto que espero les haya servido.
Wow. I told you it was going to be like a machine gun. But I got her to speak slower. She's like me. She speaks 100 miles an hour, but I got her to slow down so we can get some AI captions in there. So I want to ask you a question. It was pretty amazing if you were paying attention. I saw a couple of you look down and read something, and I did. I checked my phone at one point, then I came back going, oh crap, what was point number 3? I told you, you would have to keep your attention on the screen. So can anyone tell me what was number 1? Type it in the chat. What was number 1? Contact, but when? Next month? Next week? Immediate, thank you. Immediate contact. So just because someone says, I'm going to join the business, and they go, my product hasn't arrived, don't wait. Customer, she agrees. But remember, no, let's get them into the system and process and exposure. Boost their belief. Make sure they're connected. What was number 2? Anyone got any ideas? Make it simple. Neumi 123. Now, if you don't believe me, it's not just English Australian talking Neumi 123. We got ahead of the curve. And yes, there were some leaders in the business who didn't follow systems, who might have just been thrown against the wall, recruiting off their Facebook. But we got into their groups in all the different countries, and we got them to translate Neumi 123 in every language. So it is here to stay. And like it or love it, it is a very simple system if you haven't been taught it before, and that will help you to grow your business everywhere you go. Now, so that's simplicity. Don't be an expert. Neumi 123. Number 3. Can someone tell me what number 3 was? Be a team. 3-way calls. Yes, a company. So they're not on their own. Don't let them be the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger struggles, and if they're brand new, you go out there next minute, you're fine. And look, 1 finger pointing at you. You need to do this. 3 pointing at me. Guess what? And my Australian team knows this. I had a guy get on a call a while back called Michael. And then I was busy doing everything I was doing. It was a new guy. And next minute I've contacted him. How are we going to get you started? He had already gone out and rung 80 people and screwed it up. My fault. Sorry, Michael. Right? My fault. Because I just let him run. I didn't give him any guidance. I was busy, and that was my error. Point number 4. What did she say? Point number 4. 7 days mentoring. Yes. So 7 days, 7 days. 7 days are really important. And point number 5. What was point number 5? Point number 5, connect to the matrix. I was thinking, do you want the red pill or the blue pill? So the matrix meaning connect them to everything that's going on. What is the matrix? If you translated what she was trying to say. We have a caller on right now. If your members are not on members night and they're in this time zone that's open, they're interested in Neumi. They're not involved or committed. Just saying. If they're not here, they're not involved or committed. They're just interested, right? So this is the number 1 call. Everyone worldwide in open to this time zone should be on every week. And yes, you can listen to the recordings, but if you want to teach your members in your team to do the right actions, you're here. Come hell or high water, you are here. And I'm always here, even if I'm not the speaker. So that's number 1. Now, the presentation we did yesterday, do you have to be on that every week? No, but it's a great tool you can use. Do you have to be on every single one of Steve's calls? No, some of you are. That's great, but you don't have to. Do you have to be on your team calls? Probably a great idea. That and the members night, they're the 2 things that you should every single week be on. Don't miss anything. That's being plugged into the matrix. Otherwise, you've got your umbilical cord disconnected, waggling around, and there's no nutrients, no belief, no nothing happening. And so connect your people to the Neumi matrix. That was her words, not mine. So now what I love is that success leaves clues, right? Now I said I've been in the industry for coming up 39 and a half, nearly 40 years. And I loved hearing from Lorena, Neumi 123, and a lot of the things she said. Now, a beautiful friend of mine, Phoebe, is going to share now. Phoebe's a 3-star heading to Diamond, based out of Australia. She's been in the industry longer than I have. So she started at 2 years old as well. And Phoebe, can you share with everyone from the perspective of getting someone started effectively, follow through, what are the 5 things that you do?
Right. Well, it's first of all, Michael, I totally endorse what you said, because obviously you're my mentor, so I follow what you do because I want to be where you are, or at least have some of it. And of course, Lorena, fantastic, speaking in Spanish. And this pattern crosses all cultures and languages. Now, it shocks me sometimes that people think what we do is strange or weird or whatever. But if you change jobs or you buy a new company, you have mentoring, you have a changeover period. All of these things apply just in a different format. So for me, when somebody is starting with Neumi, whether they have any experience in network marketing or they have previous experience in network marketing, which I had before Neumi, it's bringing people into the culture, because the principles with most companies are very similar. They cross all cultures. It's like the health industry. You know, if I practice, you know, you practice the same principles, but each department, when I work in nursing, each department and each hospital has their own culture, and so does Neumi. So it's bringing people into the culture and getting them into, getting Neumi into their DNA. So yes, the 5 points that I would, after people have been through the process, like Michael spoke about, is to making sure that I'm working with people with agreement and consent. Because if they have buy-in, they're more likely to be teachable and to follow what you're teaching and what you're training. Now, from a customer's perspective, it's really simple. They're only interested in buying the product at this point. So I just help them through the registration so they don't get lost on the site, make sure that they order the products they want, and continue a follow-up process with them. Because you never know, they may want to recommend it at some stage to somebody else and upgrade to a member. But from a member's perspective, one of the first things once they decide they're going to be a member is to identify what that person wants out of the business. Do they just want to return on their investment? Do they want to just add some more income, like $1,000 a month to their current income? Or do they want to create a legacy income? And if I identify with their agreement what they want out of the business, then it helps me to know how to work with them and the level at which they want to work. And to teach them, obviously, you're going to teach them the system and introducing them to the tools, introducing them to leadership, because that brings in the team. So they're working for themselves, but not by themselves. And I would always bring in Michael, and my downline would always bring me and Michael, so that they have a menu, if you like, of upline to choose from, and that's available to help them to build their business. And then obviously connecting to product and teaching them the reality of what they can expect from the product and where to find some information. I like to do the registration with members. I like to get on Zoom, get them to do their registration so that they know how to work the site. I like to go through their back office with them. I like to help them to download the app and show them where the stuff is available on the app, and to make sure that they understand the compensation plan so they know where their money is coming from. And remember, this is an absolute. We want to teach duplication. We don't want to just get to the first level. We want to teach the person we introduce to go down and down and down and down. And if we're not teaching them, they'll never be able to go past the first level and to create a duplication process in their business. Help them to make their list and how they would make their list, and give them pointers on how they can make their list. And obviously, the BAM FAM, as Michael talked about, is so important to keep that relationship going, booking a meeting from a meeting. It doesn't matter if it's a meeting to reconnect on how to teach them something, how to answer questions, keeping the relationship going and growing. That's not just signing them up and leaving them there, because then they die on the vine and they don't know where to go from there. And I love the new process of the 10, 10, 10. So contacting, once you help them to make their list, because a big leader, there's 2%ers in every industry, and a big leader will contact anything from 100 to 1,000 people really quickly. But the average person can manage the 10 in 3 days. They can manage that, and it doesn't blow their mind, and they don't see it as too big for themselves. And then how to follow up, and working with them with the follow-up, teaching them how to diarize everything, and making sure that they're booking a meeting from a meeting. And then timing is very important for people. Some people won't feel that they're not ready to go. Don't be afraid to ask them, like Michael said earlier. Don't be afraid to ask them, would it be okay if I send you some information that's relevant, that comes out and you might be interested in? Or the business, some people have just had a baby. Some people have just changed jobs. Some people have just moved house. And emotionally, they're not ready to get involved in something else or to commit to something else right now. They can't they can't see that they can fit it into their lives. Say, would it be okay when things settle down that I come back to you in 3 to 6 months? Would that be okay with you? Because you're getting agreement, and then the onus is on you to diarize that and come back to them, because you will be the only person who will do that. And that means that you're reliable and trustworthy to be in business with, and they will trust you more. It's very important to get people moving as quickly as possible when they come into the business, because that's when they're at their most excited, and it's when they have their biggest list. And I would say those are the things that are really important to me.
Boom. Wow. I mean, you make my job easy. You and Lorena, we could have just put those up there. So guys, what have we covered today for those that are actually watching online? Because you're going to now, unfortunately, miss out on the Q&A, which is going to happen in a second. And a few people have typed some questions. So if you have any other questions right now, please get them ready to ask, right? But what we covered, we said the fortune is in the follow through. When does follow through start? At hello. And then you book a meeting from a meeting in the prospecting. So 7 exposures, some people make more than 7 exposures. So then what happens? Well, they've said no, drip campaign. Don't overdo your social media. Keep connected. Use the incubator. Keep going. Then we talked about getting started. And Lorena and Phoebe did an excellent job of talking about holding that person's hand through the most important first 24, 48 hours, 7 days, holding the hand through a process, showing them, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So with that in mind, I want to thank you for attending today. If you're watching us online, we're now going to stop the live stream, and we're going to go to the best part, which you're going to miss. And I say that because I'm rubbing it in. We're going to do a Q&A where people really get to ask questions and have them answered on this